guys you've gotten your hands on them a little bit more on the field. Just what are you liking out of that room right now?
Just liking the overall competitive nature out of the guys, the hunger for the guys. And I told them, I said, understand this. We have a lot of unproven guys in the room. So everyone came in with a clean slate. So they're just taking the challenges, taking the coaching right now, just focusing on getting better every single day. So, but they are building camaraderie and holding each other accountable and everything. But they're definitely taking the coaching, So understanding just with all the production that we lost from last year and a lot of new guys in the room. So everybody understands that there's no starters. So the rotation, the depth chart is fluid every single day.
What are you seeing out of Brady P this spring? Because last year
He was a
young
baby.
pup,
He
and
was a
now
baby this time last year.
now he's one of the veterans in the room just overnight.
Yeah.
What are you seeing from that?
Brady's starting to be more vocal as a leader. That's one of the things we talked about this offseason. Even though this is only his second year here, he played in every game for us last year, so he's an experienced guy. But just overall being more vocal, being a leader, and just starting to kind of fall into that leadership position, and he's taking ownership of that, and he's doing a really good job of it. Because early on, like you said, this time last year he was quiet. He didn't say too many things, but now he's coming out of his shell, way more confident, way more vocal. So we got to continue to build off of that.
And then from on the field perspective, what is it about him that can cause problems for defense?
First of all, he's smart. He's really smart. He has the size, he has the speed, he has a big catch radius. He's a versatile guy that we can move around. He can play all three positions. And he's put on roughly 15 pounds since he's been here. So he's a bigger guy than what he was this time last year. But just the overall experience and Brady just being so smart and being able to react to things on the fly, I think that kind of gives him an advantage.
There's a lot of, there's a lot of guys in a lot of positions, but specifically the receivers after you lose Rock and Demir, and just did you even have to address of like not try to be any of those guys, just be this year's 2025 receiver room and do what you do great as opposed to trying to be another Rock or another Demir?
Yeah, man. I try not to compare it. Those guys were they were different. That was the 23 and 24 Memphis Tigers, not even 25 Tigers. So we focus on what we can do better each and every day individual-wise to just make sure we continue to keep this thing going. So just don't compare yourself to anybody and just focus on being the best version of yourself every single day.
I know you've got a couple guys who are still nursing some recoveries. Just how are you? What is your message to them? Obviously, everybody wants to be out there and itching to be out there. Guys like Thompson and Bussy.
Man, those guys, I tell them, get mental reps. So during practice, they're standing in the back right beside me. They have a script. They're reading the script. They're looking up. They're watching the play. They're getting great mental reps. So when they do come back and return to play, and things won't be Chinese to them. And obviously, Cello, Bussy played a lot for us last year prior to the injury, but JT's a new guy for us. So having Cello back there with him, kind of explaining things, and those guys standing right there beside me, they're just getting those great mental reps. So when they get back this summer, they'll be ready to go.
And then what about CJ? What did you like out of him, out of the four?
Shit, speed. He can run, man. Kid 10-2 out of high school. That's something that we can't coach. Come from a winning program. He was at UGA for a couple years, and then was at Purdue last year. But the speed and the size, and he's an overall smart kid. Military background, so tough kid as well. So those are the type of kids we try to look to add to the program.
And then obviously, Keande Henry was huge as a recruit last year. Just what are you seeing in him out of year two, second year in the program, and just continuing to learn the offense?
Man, he's getting more comfortable. Unlike Brady, he didn't come into the summer. Now Keande would arrive in January of last year. I think he would have been light years ahead of where he is right now. But Keande progressed during the season. He ended up playing for us the last 4 games of the year. So he got some experience, but he's continuing to grow, and I can tell he's getting more comfortable overall with the offense in just year 2 of everything. And him and Brady are roommates. So they're at the crib going through the playbook and everything. So, but I definitely see a difference in Keande's development from this time last year to now.
So for those who may not, realize how important is that for that athlete coming out of high school, how important is that spring if they can graduate early, and then obviously that summer before their freshman?
Man, it's huge. It's so beneficial because you think about it, guy gets here, he may be 17, maybe 18 years old, but he get a chance to get acclimated to being in college. get a chance to get his body changed, get ahead of the semester academically. That's the most important thing, and just get a feel for it. He gets here in January, off-season conditioning, spring ball, then he goes through summer conditioning, fall camp, and by the time the season gets here, he's been here 7-8 months. So he's very familiar with how we do things, and just kind of overall from a culture standpoint, it's beneficial for those guys. Xavier Johnson is here now as a mid-year guy for us, and X is going to be 10 times better in June, because he'll be here for 6 months by that time. So it's beneficial for those guys to get here on campus and get a feel and get ahead of the game.
Are you able to, year two for Brady, are you able to see the residual impact from him being able to start early to what he is now?
Oh yeah, no doubt. Just from an overall leadership standpoint, I don't think Brady would be in the position he's in right now if he didn't get here in January of last year. If he got here in June, I don't think Brady would have been as comfortable. But him being here for a full calendar year, you can see it. Like you said earlier, he's a veteran in the room, and he's only been here. This is only going on his second year. So just that whole semester, man, is so beneficial to the guys.
Appreciate it.
Yes, sir. Appreciate y'all.